Jack in the Box regularly ranks dead last among fast food burger chains. Greasy patties, soggy buns, high prices, and regular rippings on Reddit. So, you know what they decided to do about it? Start selling a $9 smash burger. And if that doesn't sound crazy, here's something crazier. I actually heard it was good, and I'm gonna go try it. This is Outrageous Foods, where I look at the food world through the eye of value and price, because food's pretty expensive these days, and with a little bit of food culture curiosity, because food is part of our culture. Today, I am tasking myself with a true mission impossible. Can the fast food burger chain Jack in the Box, the place everybody loves to hate, actually pull off a good smash burger? And is that burger worth $9? I'm gonna find out. Real quick, before we get into it, this one's personal for me. Back in 2010, I went to Jack in the Box. In fact, that was the last time I've eaten at a Jack in the Box. It was late. I was tired. I was hungry. There was nothing else open. I did not have a lot of time or money in my pocket. So I ate there. I was so disappointed. It was so freaking gross. It was one of their kind of fancier burgers back when, fast food was doing fancy burgers, that I literally swore myself off of fast food for like the next 10 years, with a couple noted exceptions like Hangover, fast food, McDonald's hits, and In-N-Out, because that's actually good. Well, I'm pretty curious because I got a DM from a trusted source in the burger world saying that Jack in the Box serves a legit good smash burger. P.S. This person is associated with one of the most famous smash burgers in the freaking country. A hint, it's in Wisconsin. That's all I'm going to say. Anyways, it got me curious enough to put Jack in the Box out of food jail and get me to actually try it. All right, back to that DM for just a quick second. Once again, this is coming from someone connected to one of the most famous smash burger restaurants in the country, a place that's historic, an American classic, if you will. And they said Jack in the Box actually has a good smash burger. It's just a little expensive. That last part is what gets me really curious, because it actually makes sense. We all know that fast food and food is just more expensive these days. And the idea of Jack in the Box actually pulling off something edible, of course it makes sense that they'd make it expensive. Is it worth $9? Is it even really, really good? Well, I'm gonna find out. All I know is this: when this video is done, I will answer 2 burning questions. Can Jack in the Box, a fast food burger chain ranked dead last, actually make a good smash burger? And if it's good, is it worth $9? Okay, we should probably talk about why Jack in the Box actually sucks. Now, that's mean. Let's just talk about why Jack in the Box has, certain disadvantages in this day and age. First of all, when I think about Jack in the Box, for most of my life, it's always been about big menus, late night vibes, and honestly, funny commercials. Now, it all had its place when fast food was cheap. I mean, yeah, I would go and get a $1 Jumbo Jack just to break up the rotation between McDonald's, Burger King, and Wendy's, but that all changes when you start selling $9 burgers. At $9, Jack in the Box is placing itself in the competition of fast casual, actually good burgers, and suddenly ideas start popping in my mind. You're a grown man. Why are you eating like a 14-year-old and it's 1991 all over again? This is the reality of fast food in 2026, and it just goes to show you that Jack in the Box has a little bit of a hill to climb. Okay, so before we get into this $9 smash burger Jack in the Box, we should talk about, a little bit of history, because Jack in the Box has history. They actually predate McDonald's and Burger King. They started in the 1940s in San Diego. The original name was called Topsy's. Now, back then, they actually dabbled into 2 things that were just pioneering in fast food. One is they were the first to dabble with breakfast, and they created this interesting invention called the two-way radio intercom, which still exists to this day. This is how fast food drive-thrus still work. Can I help you? Yeah, this radio you're talking to was actually invented by Jack in the Box, and it was originally called Topsies. Yeah, pretty cool, right? All right, so cut to the 1980s, and Jack in the Box's menu exploded. Literally, all of a sudden there was fajitas on the menu, ham and cheese sandwiches, salads to go. And I remember the whole grilled chicken pita thing back when there was a big health realization that all our health problems could be solved with grilled chicken breast. And in some ways, Jack in the Box was trying to offer more than just a slew of burgers and chicken nuggets. But if you ask me, it kind of created a bit of an identity crisis for the brand. So Jack in the Box's brand identity crisis probably hit its apex peak when they actually ditched the name Jack in the Box and they called themselves Monterey Jack. That didn't work out so well, so they pumped the brakes and backtracked and then embraced the original title of Jack in the Box. Finally, the marketing hit gold when they created their now synonymous mascot, the CEO Jack. A dude in a suit with the head of an animated clown. And it's pretty much worked. I mean, that is how we now think of Jack in the Box, the Jack in the Box clown CEO. That's how you distinguish it between Burger King and McDonald's. The funny thing is there's no distinguishing the food. I mean, sure, you could throw Jack behind the Jumbo Jack or the Sourdough Jack, and those are all burgers from Jack in the Box. But Jack in the Box has an identity. But that identity is not tied into the food. It's just tied into attitude. This brings us to 2026 and Jack in the Box and their $9 smash burger. Is this the food play they need to create some sort of signature menu item that becomes Jack in the Box's signature? Well, here's one thing, they are doing a smash burger, which is the hottest burger trend since cheeseburgers came out. But I will say this, at $9, Jack in the Box is putting themselves in competition with Shake Shack and Five Guys. And certainly in the case of Shake Shack, they are known for not just being expensive, but also offering a great deal of quality. Jack in the Box does not have that kind of reputation. I'll be honest, Jack in the Box, $9 smash burger, those are some pretty big shoes to fill, and frankly, I am more than skeptical. So I made my way to a Jack in the Box, and like my last video with Popeyes, I used Google Maps to find a Jack in the Box with really good reviews, and while it looked pretty clean, pretty spotless, at least the front was, there it is. There she blows, Jack, the Smash Jack. The burger's a looker. I'll give you that. The burger is a looker. Got myself situated. P.S. The dining room was freaking filthy. Yup. For the moment I've been waiting for. I've not been inside a Jack in the Box in at least over a decade. I will say this too about this burger. Unlike Popeyes, when I bought it, and it just literally, they handed it to me as fast as I whipped out my credit card, this thing was made to order. It's still warm and it's been sitting. I would say it took definitely less than 10 minutes, but definitely more than 5. So it's made to order. Also, $9 with tax. $9 with tax. Moment of truth. Look, I'll just get right down to it. This thing pretty much hits like a quarter pounder with cheese, except it costs a lot more. Yeah, I would say there's a harder sear on here, but you'd have some very softly grilled onions, some pretty mid pickles, a pink sauce that kind of leans too much on mayo. The meat is warm, I'll give it that, but it has this almost like sausage process like quality. It's a decent sized hamburger. I would say if you got a double here, that would be, frankly, too much meat. Probably the biggest compliment I'll give to this burger is the bun. I think the bun sells it. I think it's a pretty good recipe design, but nothing in here is really remarkable. It's okay. So, can Jack in the Box make a good smash burger? Honestly, no. and it is certainly not worth $9. Now, I did start this video by saying I had a very reputable source that gave props to this burger, and I think they were impressed with the brioche bun element of the burger. When I think about the buttery bun, the single patty, slice of cheese, pickles, onions, and that pink sauce, that by recipe is a good idea, but the ingredient execution just flat out lacked, and there's no way that burger is worth $9. Now, it's nothing new that food's expensive, and fast food has really hit prices that approach fast casual. However, there's a quality gap. Shake Shack is expensive, but the quality is good. Jack in the Box is expensive and the quality is bad. And it's got me thinking, where else does this quality divide happen? A couple years ago, I tried McDonald's improved quarter pounder with cheese and I was impressed by it. In fact, when I first bit into that burger, it made me think of a quarter pounder with cheese, but frankly, overpriced. Makes me want to give that burger a try. And to be honest, I want to try Five Guys again because I had it 20 years ago. Back then, I didn't think it was worth the money. Kind of curious to see with what they're charging, how big of a quality gap there is. That's what's getting me these days. P.S. If you like this video, if you like watching me eating copious amounts of sodium, smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, and let me know where else do you think I should go to see if it's worth it given the prices in 2026. This is Outrageous Foods. Thanks for watching. Man, I could use a do-over for a meal right now, you know? I almost stopped at a food truck on my way home.